What's up, everybody? It's Lids. We're back for another round of Pyre. I'm excited. Let's get going. Last time, we did do a rite in which, spoiler alert, we were successful, but maybe not quite as well, didn't perform quite as well as we did in the previous round, so we might need to step up our game a little bit. We also, of course, picked up a new friend who we might be about to talk to. Or not. Alright, we have Hedwig. After having secured victory over the Fate in the rite last night, you find Hedwig off on his own. You sense he wants to talk about your decision to exclude him from conducting the rite. So that's true. We now, after having picked up an additional party member, have 4 people, and we're only allowed to include 3 in the actual competition for the rite. And so I was debating as to who we should leave out, and ultimately it seemed like it was going to be between Edwin and the new character, Tay, because they seem like they're pretty similar from a skills standpoint, but Edwin volunteered. He said, hey, if you need to have someone sit out, then you can pick me. So I was kind of thinking that that would mean he would be okay with it, but maybe not. I guess we'll have some tough choices to make before all this is over, my friend. Just been thinking about that. I'm glad you let the others go instead of me during the rite. I mean that. All more since we succeeded. Okay, good. I don't know what's more intense, participating in the rite, or just watching from the sidelines. Anyway, thank you for checking in. I'm off to go make sure we're ready to move. He departs to check on things outside. You sense that he has no misgivings about what transpired, and is more concerned at present about the missing minstrel. That's true. Apparently we are missing a minstrel that I didn't even realize was in the wagon and just completely still before, but that seems to be something that is of great concern. Ooh, this does look new. Okay. The Last Emperor. In the words of Golgolothanian, Master General, how many nations did I scour in the name of Solium Mur? How many countries fell before our spears and blades? Such questions mattered less to me with every passing victory. Our legends swelled across the land, and our dominion grew. Emperor Solium Mur paid all this little heed. He only tended to his personal affairs. Our legions relished the autonomy. We did not know that the Emperor cared nothing for his legions, nor his people, cared only for that which was before him. One day, he learned of such a thing as to befit his name, vowed to seek it out. Okay. Any other mysterious people that I didn't even realize were in here? Ooh, the common room. Your fellow exiles' living quarters are functional, but little else. Okay, this gives you access to the roster. Okay, gotcha. In the common room, you may review various notes and observations about your fellow exiles and their respective paths towards enlightenment in the rites. So here is the page where we can see their stats, and we even get a little biography. So let's take a closer look. So we have Hedwig, the free spirit. He wanders the downside in search of a way to regain his freedom and return to his home. I mean, he seems pretty level-headed. Free spirit, to me, kind of implies that he's a little more wild and reckless, but that doesn't seem like his personality, but maybe I'm reading into that description a little too much. Interesting. So he has individual powers here. I want to see what the difference is from character to character here, because I noticed in the last rite that when we were testing out playing as the new character Tay, that her sprint was a little different than the other characters, and I didn't really know what to make of it at first, but maybe we can figure out more here. So we have Cast, throws an aura in a straight line, so that's like the attack that he has. Jump. Sprint. Okay, I mean, these are all the things that we are used to seeing. He's a nomad, common folk cast from the Commonwealth, and stripped of name, home, and title. There's a chance that Hedwig is not even his original name. In that case, Outrider. They ensured the hireling remnants never flew far from their mountain nests. So when we were asking Hedwyn about his personal history a little bit last time round, he was talking about how he was sort of a guard against, I assume it must have been the Highwing remnants, protecting his city against them. Astral sign, Venorial. He was born on the 29th of 7th moon, suggesting he is devoted and faithful. One's astral sign often foretells of one's disposition, strengths, and idiosyncrasies. Devoted and faithful? Yeah. He just seems like an honest, well-intentioned guy. Sentencing, crime, desertion. He fled the Blood Border's north front without leave and did not return. Yeah, so this is the story he was telling us about last time. As mercy guides our hand, we spare our lives, but rid ourselves of you. Sentencing. And what is this? Motive. Insurrection. Records state he wished to relay Commonwealth military secrets to the enemy. Yeah, there was... It seemed to be that he was suggesting that he was kind of siding with the Commonwealth's enemies a little bit here, so that's interesting. The downside, one's past tends not to be a subject for discussion. Yeah, and that's why I was hesitant to ask him a little bit about it, because we had other options, but it seemed like of all of our party members, Hedwyn would probably be the most open and willing to discuss that topic. Years exiled 5. Hedwyn has survived 5 years in the downside thus far. It is a life sentence. Some withstand the downside for no longer than a day or two, while others last for many, many years. So it sounds like, comparatively speaking, Hedwyn may be someone who has lasted a pretty long time down here. Biography: while serving on the Blood Border, by chance he had a run-in with a lone enemy Harp. They each felt a powerful connection and escaped together rather than fight each other to the death, as would have been expected. He lost contact with her after their encounter and left his post in search of her, but he was caught and exiled. In the downside, he found Jodario, who looked after him when he was a child. Ah, okay, we haven't heard that from Jodario yet. Interesting. In time, he caught wind of an unbelievable rumor and first heard the name of Sandal, parent name of some mysterious informant of Hedwyn, Jodario, and Ruby. Yeah, we've seen that name come up. We don't know much about it. So that's Hedwyn. Here's Jodario. The fallen soldier. He is a grim, long-time resident of the downside, grown accustomed to surviving there. Similar skills, instead of sprint it says rush. I don't know if there's much of a difference. Lunges forward in one swift motion versus runs much faster for a short time. I mean, it sounds pretty similar to me. She's a demon, which I remember seeing that someone mentioned that in passing, and I mean, she does have horns coming out of her head, but I guess there are enough pretty magical, crazy things going on here that I suppose I wasn't necessarily reading too much into that. But I guess that is, in fact, a sign that she is actually a demon and technically not a human, but people who survived in exile long enough to be transformed by it, in body, if not in spirit. Interesting. So it sounds like originally she was actually a human, but has been down so long that the downside has turned her into a demon. Okay. So, I don't know, Hedwyn. Stay down here long enough. Might be next. Past veteran. Everyone served on the Commonwealth's Blood Border. Those who excelled, not exiled, remained. Clashes with the Highwing remnants were frequent, though the greatest wars had passed. So it sounds like her occupation was actually very similar to what Hedwyn's was. It's just that it seems as though she was someone who had served in that role for a longer period of time and maybe built up more of a positive reputation there. But we don't know why she was exiled. Motive is, or how long she's been down here, but I assume it's been quite some time, based on how it has apparently turned her into a demon. She seems to be responsible for the Black Wagon's security. Yeah, that does seem to be the case. We've seen mention on a couple of occasions that she's looking out for some kind of enemy that might be potentially looking to sneak up and attack the wagon. Her features suggest she has lived in exile for much longer than the others, okay? The grim outlook and the fact that she still wears the bronze clasp of the Commonwealth Blood Border suggests a military background, though what she did to earn her sentence, you do not yet know. Okay? So we may not get much on the other characters as well, because it seems like after having talked to Hedwyn, that may have been the primary way in which we got much of that information. So, Ruki is the fast talker. Okay, interesting. He's an opportunistic and well-connected cur, still clinging on to his once comfortable lifestyle. Okay, so he does have that little suit there. Comes from a privileged background. Well, maybe. Let's see. So he's a cur, which is a swift, dog-like creature known for loyalty, optimism, and appreciation for the simple things. Oh, that's sweet. The Alpha Chiefs would later say their kind went soft no sooner than they joined the Commonwealth. Okay, so they kind of had their own society in place before they joined the Commonwealth. Interesting, but I say maybe not so much in actual high lifer if, in fact, much of that was coming from being a trafficker. So dealing with contraband for long enough can lead to making many strange acquaintances, and we saw a little bit of that where he was talking to the slug market dealer guy last time round, so we might have more of those types of run-ins. What remains now of the fallen empire's old and tarnished currency is still of value to some, okay? We don't know his astral sign, and we don't know how he got exiled, what his motive is, how long he's been down here, but he seems to be the most well-connected of the masked wanderers who found you and know something of the land. He has a rather opportunistic disposition. His ostentatious clothing suggests a lucrative background in the mercantile business. Whether or not that was legitimate, well, apparently it wasn't. Even still, you do not know for sure what he did to earn his sentence. Okay. Then we have Tay, who's the one that we just got to join us. Oh, also, Savage? He's raised... Oh, okay, that's the same thing as here. She's a young vagabond girl with an odd manner and an unshakable sense of curiosity. Oh, I also wasn't looking at pass, jump, sprint. Okay, so same as Hedwyn. I'm curious here, because she has a cast, a jump, and a sprint, but her sprint seemed really different than the other characters, and that it was almost like a slide. It wasn't so much that she was running faster, as much as it seemed like it was almost a dodge. I guess, in some ways, that is still the function of the sprint, but okay. She's a savage, which means a simple folk ostracized for their deficiencies or differences, even prior to their sentencing. Also called the Moon-Touched, they proved overly resistant to the principles of lawful society. Okay? Past Moon-Touched, yep, the Commonwealth never did know how to handle those who did not fit neatly into its mold. It is said those born under a wild moon oft lead a charmed and troubled life. Don't know her astral sign or anything else about her, but our observations are that she appears to be a vagabond who has wandered the downside for some time and has somehow managed to get by. Her simple and sincere demeanor suggests she was likely shunned in the Commonwealth. You can see from Savage and Moon-Touched. And would have been considered a savage by the standards there. She seems unusually interested in the legends of the 8 scribes. Okay. Not sure if we've gotten a great sense of that just yet. It seems like she's interested and curious about everything, as said up here, but not necessarily specifically the 8 scribes, so we'll have to see if that shows itself later on. And let's get going. Got the chance to find out a little bit more about our teammates here. There's still no sign of the lone minstrel, although Jodariel tracks potential signs of movement east, the same way you're headed. You consider where to search for it. Okay. Oh, so these are the same places we went before. We're kind of backtracking. See, the north route across Jomir Valley passes the remains of the Hive Titan. Jodariel believes the missing minstrel must have taken the same route you took earlier. This is the same route we took earlier, okay? Otherwise, if we go here, what's the deal? The south route across the Jomir Valley is riddled with barren rock and bone. Edwin thinks the missing minstrel could have taken the route opposite to the one you took. Okay, so on this occasion, we don't have a lot of information other than just, do we side with Jodariel or do we side with Edwin? And so, I mean, we did side with Jodariel on the first time round when we were trying to make one of these choices, and we're trying to spread the love a little bit. Then I think it's Edwin's turn. So it's nothing personal, Jodariel, but gotta play fair. Give everyone a shot. As you travel through the dry flats of Flatfall, or Fall Flat, Flatfall, the dry flats, you know, Edwin seems more ill at ease than usual. There's no sign of the missing minstrel. Okay, so Hedwin's usually pretty level-headed. Sorry about this, Jody. I had a hunch he must have come this way. Would that our hunches could be more dependable. Do not fear. We shall find him yet. Sounds like a hunch to me. More of a promise. You pick up bits and pieces of the minstrel's significance to your fellow exiles. He was there when they first discovered the Black Wagon, but they refused to say much more about it for now. It is a little strange. We don't know really anything about this minstrel, and yet it certainly does seem to be important to these people. Stop the wagon. Uh-oh, what happened? What? How come? Because of her. They're coming! They're coming for us! We have to be ready! We have to! Does she mean what I think she means? I believe so. Your fellow exiles scramble to prepare the wagon for whatever's out there. Once you help them settle in, perhaps you can learn more of their source of concern. I'm guessing this is the stuff that Jodariel was saying, or was guarding us from, in the past. You have anything in here we can do to prepare? People we can talk to? No, it seems like we're just going straight into preparing for the night, but all we know is that something is approaching. You and your fellow exiles need to be ready for it. Let's give it a shot. They're coming for us. They fear the scribes! They fear the scribes! I know they do! What's she talking about? What's going on? Howlers. Lots of them. Then, well, what are we gonna do? They fear the scribes! Calm yourself, Tay. We shall give them reason to fear us as well. Ooh, the music is kicking in. Okay. We'll use the raiments and the books. Indeed. One of us can draw them out. Under the reader's watch, it shall be just like one of our rights. Edwin turns to you. It seems we need your help in this, my friend. We just need a volunteer to go with you. I'll do it, mister. Please. You have to let me. And the scribes, they will protect me. I know they will. Jodariel exchanges looks with Edwin. Each of them nods at you, as if to signal their approval. Tay intends to help fend off the Howlers. Alright, let's do it. Whoa! That is very creepy. That howling sound, it means that they're here. Oh, by the scribes, they're here. This is escape to toggle aim assist in the settings. Nah, no aim assist necessary. Okay. Banish the Howlers by power casting. Thought I was maybe power casting? I don't know. Maybe I don't know what a power cast is. No, get out of here. No! Stop doing that. Oh, he's hiding. More, I think. There's many more. Oh, here they come. Here they come. Apparently, we've got 3 out of 5 power casts. I mean, I was assuming that that meant that you just hold the attack button and that makes it more powerful, but that may not be the case. Uh-oh. We're getting a lot of them, though. I mean, it definitely looks like it's most efficient to try to get multiple at once like this. Oh, I think it's more of a timing thing, where we do have that little brief moment where our character flashes, and so it's not necessarily just holding it indefinitely and waiting to charge up. There is actually a timing aspect to it. Let's see. Is it over now at last? It is. I think it is. Oh, those poor and wretched beasts. Huh? Just then, Tay spots something creeping toward her. Uh-oh. Whoa! What? Ferocious creep. Uh-oh. This. While holding right click, release it. When you see a flash to power cast. Okay. Howling subsides as your fellow exiles scramble out to check on Tay. You find her in one piece, along with an unfamiliar little face. Sweetie! Isn't he the best? Can we keep him? Wee-hoo! You sense a depth of experience in this creature, at least judging by drive-in standards, that is. In fact, you feel a connection to him. If you concentrate, perhaps, you can derive some meaning from his calls and screeches. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one. The Drive Imp seems both excited and frustrated by something. Interact to strengthen your bond with the creature. Okay. The Drive Imp recognizes you as the new reader of the Nightwings. He is pleased to meet you. Okay. Can now understand this unusual Drive Imp. Okay. Apparently we speak Drive Imp. The Drive Imp seems satisfied at having gotten through to you, and you explain to your companions what little you have learned from him so far. No one argues against letting the creature come along. Inside the wagon, the other Drive Imps stare at him with something like reverence. It seems like this might be a particularly notable or famous Drive Imp, perhaps? The Drive Imp joined you. He seems to know his way around. Yeah, there's a backstory here somewhere. Let's see if anyone has anything to say about it. You can still see the little imp has made himself at home. Rushes right up to you. Yeah. No, it's not happening. I'm sorry. New imp companion seems very pleased to be in the wagon. He indicates he was able to find you thanks to the swarm of howlers. Okay. Plans to set up a nest that should ward off any further trouble from them. Okay. He looks forward to the road ahead with everyone and believes it shall be worth it. He seems to be saying he's happy to be back where he belongs, and he urges you to keep going. Back where he belongs. See, he's definitely been here before. He bounds off towards his brethren settled in the wagon's rafters. Up there he goes. Okay. So that was interesting. That was certainly different than the types of things that we've done in the past. Ooh. Okay, so that's backward. Well, we apparently have to go to Licksand, an arid southern pass toward the ominous cairn of Haub. Your new imp friend seems insistent that you take this path bearing east. I mean, I don't know, the name sounds a little iffy to me, but if you insist. Edwin orders the wagon to halt somewhere in the dry flats of Jomir Valley. There's someone on the road. Be careful, everyone. Figure watching the black wagon from far approaches. Arms spread wide, although a hat and cloak conceal the figure's features. Then, the imp rushes out toward whomever it is. Rikiki! Imp is very riled up at the sight of whoever is approaching, though in an almost joyous way. Tizo? It is good to see you, and you found the others, even faster than expected. He is a venerable drive-in who seems to know the ins and outs of the Nightwing's black wagon. And this is the minstrel. Okay. The imp called Tizo appears very pleased. The lone minstrel turns toward the rest of you. Hello. We have not met, but I know who you are, or who you must be. I returned as promptly as I could. Have you walked with the scribes themselves? Because I think maybe you have. Hello. Indeed. He had his word there. He took off. I should knock him back into his slumber. I did not aim to cause you such concern. As soon as I awakened, I had to notify my client that the Nightwings had returned. His client? Huh? Your client? I'm with you, Rookie. I, my client, Sandalwood. Ah, okay. Name keeps coming up. He is your point of contact, as I understand. You did not find his wagon by mistake. His wagon. Okay. So, now what? You continue down the path. That is why I am here. When we meet my client, he shall explain. For now, you have a job to do. I assure you that I shall not interfere. But I mean to accompany you. Would that be alright? Edwin and the others exchange looks. Welcome back, minstrel. You got a name? I'm sometimes called Tariq. It's a pleasure to meet you, Nightwings. Tariq. He appears to be a traveling musician, yet seems to be connected to the rites. And he seems to have some relationship with the rest of our teammates, but yet they didn't know his name? Seems a little strange. I don't know what to think of that. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but the lone minstrel returns to the Black Wagon with your fellow exiles, not your federal exiles. He appears to be a traveling musician. Okay, yeah. Same description we had when we read his name. The lone minstrel rejoined the group. One that I didn't even realize we had in our group to begin with. But I swear, we missed you. We missed you a whole lot, man. We were searching all over for you. The cairn of Haub is a foreboding sight. It is here that the next rite is soon to commence. Reader, you have a moment. Once we are settled on these grounds, I wish to speak with you, wagon, at your leisure. Ooh, and there's a slug market here as well, apparently. Okay. Let's see. So we have a new entry in the Book of Rites. Looks like we might be able to do something with his loot. And we, of course, have the minstrel to talk to. The lone minstrel seems to have situated himself in the wagon. He's very still, unlike when he was sleeping. Not unlike when he was sleeping. I was gonna say, it's not like he was all over the place. Didn't even notice him. Reader, I shall keep this brief, as you shortly have a right. You have read something in the Book of Rites. It means that you may know something of my nature. On the contrary, you know not what he means. He soon senses this. Forgive me, for I have spoke too soon. Suffice it, I have served the Nightlings for some time. I wonder if the reason he says that is because the entry that we are about to read in the Book of Rites might be the one that ties to him, and so that dialogue might change a little bit depending on which order in which you do those things. Conduct the rites with glory. Achieve, seek. I assume he is alluding to freedom? The lone minstrel nods farewell to you and steps away. Alright, so let's see if we can confirm that suspicion. The rope collar. In the words of Gol Golathanian, Master General, I knew it was a fool's errand, but my liege would not listen. He instead insisted to pursue a certain treasure, a celestial orb, freshly fallen from the heavens in the reaches of the downside. He would be a living legend if only he could grasp it. Whispered in his ear that Palmer Rope Collar, his elder and most trusted aide. Would that I slew the man myself. His was a simple and yet brilliant ruse to draw the Emperor further still from his responsibilities and toward his greed. Thus did the Emperor begin an expedition into the Forsaken Lands, insisted that he go himself. Okay, so there was some sort of setup here. The Emperor. Or someone else set up the Emperor. Seems like it probably did not go well. The lone minstrel Tariq's musical instrument, with which he chronicles great deeds through song. Tariq status nearby. Interact to listen to various music from the quest. Okay. The lone minstrel and his white lute chronicle the journey of the Nightlings through song. Using it, you may hear glimpses of your past experience across the downside. Ah, okay. So... Huh. I mean... At some point I would like to listen to all of these because, especially with Supergiant, the developers of this game's past games, Transistor and Bastion, the music was amazing. And I haven't been paying too close attention to the music specifically, and now that we've picked up the Minstrel, I suspect that maybe we'll get a few more intricate things or interesting things that come into play, like, I mean, now we can choose to play different pieces of music whenever we'd like, so at some other point, we'll maybe take a closer look at that. Ooh, I don't mean to do that, though. That didn't bump us back very far. Pressed escape. I shouldn't have done that. My bad. Okay, I'm guessing that we just need to go through this conversation again. Oh, we could have tested if reading this first would have changed this dialogue. So I'm just going to speed through this because we've already had this conversation. I'm going to quickly open this just to confirm that we have in fact read that. I'm going to click on this real quick. Nothing for now. That's what I ought to have done. We have a slug market. Falcon Ron is back. Oh, hey guys, fancy running into you this side of the sand. So, what can I do for you? Ron? How'd you make it all this way ahead of us? Ah, come on, Master Greentail. Can't just give up on all my business secrets, am I right? What I can do, though, seeing as you've been such a good customer and all, is provide you a sample or a little something you might like. Here, check this out. Seeing as you bought that Mooncrest thinger for me last time, why, well, I'm just thinking you could use this, and I got more if you want. You received Pinch of Stardust. It does seem useful. It's a consumable. Okay, so you use it once and it's gone. Raises the rank of certain talismans +1. Drag onto a talisman to enhance it usable once. Ah, okay. So it seems like when I saw the word consumable, I assumed that that would mean, and since it says usable once, I assumed that that would mean that it would only apply for a single rite. However, if it just means that you use it once, but it applies to a talisman, which is something that you permanently equip on a character, then I think that might actually be a permanent effect, in that your talismans are ranked +1 forever once you apply this to them. So that's interesting. In which case, I might be interested in picking up a little more. Ooh, okay, so we're loaded on the coins now. Okay, so the coins also apparently are called soul, sun, I guess. Old coins that you can trade at the slug market. Okay. And let's see. Start at the right, the bear's Pyre automatically gains +7 fiery stuff, so basically gives us +7 life. I'm assuming these are probably the same ones that we saw before. Maybe, maybe not. Curve Fangs is when plunging into the adversary's Pyre, the bear deals bonus damage. That's also certainly very good. So offensive, defensive, and then here this one's very expensive. When carrying the orb, the bear moves faster than usual +10%. So that would be amazing if we could get that for Rookie, because Rookie is already so fast that getting +10% to his movement is probably much better than just getting +1 quickness, or I forget what the stat is called. Called movement. What is this one? Lucrative Contract. After banishing an adversary, the bearer gains +1 coin up to this many times per rite. 10. Ah. Interesting. So that's a way of generating a bunch of currency if you're willing to go that route and kind of farm it up. It does have a limit, and that you can only get 10 per round, but that is enough to pay off this purchase after one fully farmed go-round, and anything after that is pure profits. I mean, it does have an opportunity cost in that if you're using this, a talisman that doesn't actually give any stats, only gives you the ability to generate additional revenue, then you're missing out on what would otherwise be a pretty powerful talisman that affects more directly what your character does in the rite from a performance standpoint. So I'm intrigued by that. I'm also intrigued by this. I do like those. I would love to have enough to save up for this, so I think let's pick this up, because the earlier we get this, the better. The more opportunity we have to benefit from it. Let's do that. And I think... let's do this. Ah, I know you're going to like that stuff, guys. It's pretty woo, you know what I mean? If you want some more now, I know just the individual one. Dad can get it. Catch my meaning, yeah? Just stop by some other time. Yeah, so I think it makes sense to buy those things because, as you can see here, apparently he only had a stock of 1, even though the Pinch of Stardust is a consumable item. You know, in a lot of games, when you have consumable items like this, like take potions, for example, is a common one. You tend to be able to buy multiple each time, or sometimes there's just an infinite supply in the shop. But since there isn't, it seems like every time we have the opportunity to buy it, we should buy it so that we can stockpile as many of these as possible, and then use them to upgrade our talismans as much as possible. And potentially save them for when we get a really nice talisman like this, because it would be pretty sweet if we could upgrade powerful talismans instead of wasting them on cheap ones. Unless if maybe rank 10 is the maximum. I don't know. We'll see. So I mean, we could buy some of these other ones, but unlike these, it seems like You probably only need one of each type of talisman, and he appears to sell these each time, because we saw these in the previous go-round where we met the trader. So I think we can leave these. We'll save this up, and maybe the next time around we'll have enough to buy the lunar glass, but I don't know. We'll see. Come see us again, guys. Okay, and I think... well, let's put that talisman on someone. And who should it be now? So, we have a quickness talisman. Talisman that gives characters a chance to respawn instantly. And the new one, which is the one that gives us additional monies. So, I mean, I think we're probably going to end up using Hedwyn, Jodariel, and Ruki in the next round, the next right. And I think I'm okay with using Hedwyn as kind of our headhunter in this way, because basically with this talisman it means whoever has this is the person who you want to be most aggressive with taking out the enemy with. And it seems like that's sort of what we've been doing with Hedwyn. I mean, my strategy has been pretty much to use our aura attack specifically, to try to banish some of our enemies, and then when we have a bit of an opening, we use a fast character like Ruki to zoom in and reach the opponent's Pyre. So I think that this combination plays pretty well into that. And then Jodariel is still probably going to be the character that hangs back a little bit more near our own Pyre and plays a little bit of defense, and on the rare occasions when we can get her forward, great, but I don't think that's going to happen all that often. Let's see. We'll give it a go. I think I like that setup. You and your fellow exiles gather around the sacred site known as the Cairn of Aoub, anticipating the hour that the rites are to commence again. All is quiet for a time. Then... whoa! Okay, things just got a little more exciting. From out of nowhere charges a gangly cur. He stops short and gives you a mighty sneer. Psst, that's Barker Ashpaws. Real piece of work. Just don't make eye contact. Oh well, would you look at this lot? Even got one of our own consorting with the two-leggers. You're a disgrace there, mate, you realize? Oh, good to see you, Barker. You're looking well. Didn't know you, knew about the rites. Oh, I know about a lot of things, my friend. For instance, I know you're going to be very, very sad after we wipe the floor with you here. Don't know whose back you scratched to earn yourself a spot on the high and mighty Nightwings there, but I'm gonna make sure all you regret it. Because why not? Sounds good. Sounds good. The cur Barker laughs away as his pack stumbles after. You hear them howling and cackling as the stars above begin to glow. It's a Barker Ashpaws. He's a troublemaking cur who thrills in the defeat of the triumvirates who stand against him. And yes, just in time, just as anticipated, the music is absolutely kicking off. So, I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but maybe that's a sign that this team is going to be really aggressive. Try to be super offensive and go after us.
But first, there's a tradition to uphold. This time you stand against the dissidents.
Dissidents.
Even now they hunger to defeat you. Perhaps not simply to regain their freedom, but to deny you yours.
Okay. Assuming we still need to pick our group? As the stars shine down upon you, the pack of curs you stand against this night continue hooting and howling, Oh, one thing to bear in mind. They're calling this specifically a pack of curs, which is the species that Ruki is, those dog-like creatures. And we were kind of predicting this a little while ago. There might be a time when we go up against entirely curs, or, you know, entirely the little quick guys, or entirely the big slow characters. And so I think this is going to be just what we were expecting, in that it's going to be a bunch of the little speedy guys who are going to be chasing after us, going super aggressively after our Pyre. So this could be a very different style of game than what we've done in the past. Oi, come on, you lot! Let's boil some blood! Then Ruki pulls you aside. Look, chum. I don't know how to say this, but I can't go against these guys. I just trust me on this one, okay? You sense he means it. You make a mental note to ask about his history with Parker whenever the time permits. It's all right, Ruki. We can take care of them. Begging your pardon, but you need another to stand at your side this night. I have someone here I might recommend. Do not be coy with us, minstrel. Don the robes if you intend to stand with us. Oh, I did not mean myself. Right, sir. Not for me. I was instead referring to this little one. A creature wearing tiny raiments appears at the lone minstrel's sight. Squeaky! Tizo seems to be volunteering to take on your adversaries, the dissidents. Interesting. I did not anticipate that. Absurd. The imp knows the rights? He knows a great deal. So long as the Nightwings stand together, he shall be at their side. Though you need not take my word for it. Tizo, our adversaries seem to be preoccupied. Perhaps you might quickly show our comrades what you can do. The little imp peers at you. You sense his connection to the rights as he awaits your guidance. We're supposed to speed over with him? Screehee! Tio seems excited to demonstrate some of his favorite tricks. Reader, influencing Tizo may take some getting used to. He is inviting you to try. Hold W to flutter until stamina is depleted. Ah!
No, it cannot be. Then we shall see what comes.
Oh, I didn't realize you could move things. So, that's a whole different thing. Can he sprint? He's not sprinting at all. I'm trying to hold the sprint button, but it does seem as though, I mean, obviously he can fly. Can I land on top of these things? Won't let me. Okay. There is a sprint button. I was just getting ahead of myself there. Excuse me? What? I don't think I want to. Whoa. Wow. That's different. Can I combine all those things simultaneously? No, but I can do them one right after the other. Yes, okay. As anticipated. Bunch of the little quick curves. Well done as ever, Tizo. Scrap! Tizo is happy to lend his support during the rites, if you could use his help. Well then, reader, who shall conduct the rites in the name of the Nightwings?
Who shall stand together here this night?
Ah, inspiration. One's capacity to gain enlightenment more quickly. Current inspiration 250. I did not see this before. So it looks like that. I'm assuming that's what the green bar stands for. Maybe. So there are actually specific people who will get better bonuses. He doesn't want to participate, and it won't even let us. I was wondering if it would let us, but then there would be some repercussions. I'm picking! Give me a second. No inspiration. No inspiration. Okay, can we steal your talisman? I would like to do that. And I think I'm gonna give it to you to make you super quick. Actually, who is quicker? You are. Huh. So, tell you what, I think let's go Headwind, Jodariel, and then Tizo. We'll make Tizo our quick guy. And then all of our 3 participating people have talismans, and we know we have Headwind going in when he has inspiration. So I think that's good.
Headwind Lunds.
You? I think we'll need to have Jodariel sit out probably the next one, because she's kind of getting ahead of everyone else. She has more experience than everyone.
Tizo, it is done.
Our adversary shall be quick. Be ready. Yeah, I think that is very... They're not just saying that. That's true. Time's up, you swill. Come on, boys, let's get him. So, we may need to play a much more defensive game this time, is what I'm anticipating.
The knight's first banishment.
And also, Headwind is the one who has the bonus from taking people out. Oh, uh-oh. I can't deactivate this when it's up. And he knows. I need to do it. Ah! That wasn't very nice. It's like, that was a pretty huge risk. I should not have done that. Ah, I should have passed it. Oh dear. Also, shouldn't have exploded there. Uh-oh. 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 Ah, that was mismanaged on my part. I meant to switch or attack or do something like that, but I did none of those things. There we go. Alright, we took the lead, but it is close. I think this is going to be a really tough one. Alright, I'm going to wait for you to make a move so that I can do that. Oh, what was that?
You'll have to do better than that.
I actually... Wait, where'd it go? I don't know where it is right now. Where is it? Where is it? Apparently there. Also, we have no one up at the moment, so this is a problem. Oh, you jumped over me! Devious! This is gonna be tough.
Pyre now burns brighter than your own.
It's true.
A rude predicament for the dissidents with
It's okay. It's okay. We can catch up. Back in the lead now, but it's gonna be tough, like I was saying. Uh-oh. Oh, that was so silly of me. As was that. And that was also very, very silly. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Instantaneously! Nope. I tried to explode as soon as I respawned, but I'm being way too, sloppy. I tried to pass at the last minute. I couldn't do it in time. Alright, don't want to move too far with Jodariel, because I think that's a risk. There we go. Headwind's been our main scorer here. Keep on trading. Headwind takes one, they take one. Oh, excuse you. That was mean. Rude. Uh-oh. Okay, this is bad. I need to wait here. You are so fast. Oh my god. Crazy fast.
That ought to wake you up. The two flames now burn equally as bright. Indeed.
Get there. Good.
Wind doused the adversary's flames.
It's close. Alright, you lot. That does it. No more fussing around, right? My boys and me, we're proper angry now. Okay, I think that probably means they're just gonna be even more aggressive. So I think we need to play more defensively than we have been, because what I've been doing is kind of meeting them in the middle, duking it out, and waiting until we happen to get rid of one or really ideally two of them before trying to make a move. But I think they're gonna try to come right at us, and it may be best to stay home. Oh, what is happening? What the heck was that? What the heck was that?
Whatever shall you do against so fierce a foe?
Aha! I just flew my way over. Should have done that more often, I guess. Okay, use that to block us. You are so crazy fast. I just couldn't even stop you, even if I wanted to there. Uh-oh, uh-oh. I just needed to get rid of him. I meant to do something else there. And that was also a mistake. You are so fast! You pick it up and you would instantly get there. It's crazy. Make a run for it. No! How did you do that? You're so fast! We lost! Wow!
They pulled together ere their pyre sputtered out.
It was so close. And I knew that it was coming too. I knew they were gonna play like that. And I just could not find a good way to counter it. That was not good on my part. You and the Nightwings may have experienced your first defeat. This is not the end. Rather, this is an opportunity for you and your fellow exiles to press onward. Tizo, for example, learned a valuable lesson this night. So too has Hedwyn, not in spite of this setback with the dissidents, but because of it. And Jodariel is no exception. She has gained more insight here as well. Your fellow exiles all shall gain enlightenment and learn and grow from what transpired. And your story shall continue. The choice of whether to accept such outcomes, now and all throughout your quest, is to be yours alone. My boys and me, we didn't even break a sweat against you, Nightwings. Okay, well, that's not true. Now you're just trying to rub it in our face. That was crazy close, and you know it. If it weren't for that, I mean, pretty insane power-up that they got near the end of that right, where they just became lightning fast, where honestly it got to the point where as soon as they picked up the sphere, they instantly could make it to our Pyre. Even when I tried to attack them, as soon as they got it, they just sprinted and they were immediately past us. It was seemingly unstoppable. And really, what we needed to do was have a much larger cushion before they reached that point, but we were pretty much neck and neck at that point, maybe even a little bit ahead, just a little bit, but then once they started doing that stuff, it was game over for us. Of course, we technically can't sweat, but even if we could, and you be sure to tell Rookie Greentail that yours truly here remembers everything. You hear? It's all right. We learn from our mistakes. Keep going.
The right do something of trust.
Alright, so I do have to say, I think this is maybe a bit of a wake-up call to us in that our strategy of relying so heavily on Ruki to be our speed demon, our scorer. Times like this where he's not available, it's gonna make it awfully tough, and that may mean that we need to get more accustomed to using other characters, which, I mean, Hedwyn did pretty well for us, but I think Tizo is going to take a long time to get a good sense as to how best to take advantage of that flight skill and how best to use his attack defensively, because defensively, I tried to use him to protect from some of those quick onslaughts, but it was not very effective. We did manage to float on by for a quick score on one occasion, but also Jodariel, quite frankly, did next to nothing. I think I'm beginning to understand something of all this, my friend. Okay, so he's leveled up. You can choose to gain 50% more stamina, letting him jump and sprint more often. Would be useful. I mean, he's, again, sort of the jack-of-all-trades character that doesn't have a very clear specialty, so I'm not necessarily sure what direction we would want to go with him. What direction we would want to go in with him. Stamina, and then if we continue to go down this way, when power casting... Oh, I totally forgot about power casting as well. Hedwyn's aura travels in a wider, longer line than usual. I wonder if power casting might have made a difference in that last right. If Hedwyn jumps into airborne adversaries, he banishes them. Ah, okay. So he gains a defensive capability. I guess it's defensive when you take out the enemies. I mean, it's kind of both, because once you've taken them out, it's usually a good sign that you want to make your offensive move soon afterward. But that seems pretty unique, this characteristic here, so that might be an interesting direction in which to go. The last one would be, after Hedwyn douses the adversary's Pyre, his Pyre recovers life equal to 50%. Whoa! That seems crazy good. I mean, that would have been so helpful on this previous right. Oh, interesting. And you look here at the experience that they gain, and normally you'd have stuff for conducted the right, so they participated. On this occasion, he had that inspiration bonus that we saw coming in, but valuable lesson plus 300. It looks like from our first loss, the game is saying, hey, don't worry about it, man. It'll be okay. You can bounce back. Alright, but on this side, alternatively, we could have Hedwyn and his allies regenerate stamina twice as quickly as usual. Oh. This also seems really good, in that it applies not only to Hedwyn, but to other characters on our team, in which case he becomes a bit of a support character, which I really like. That sounds cool. Otherwise, while bearing the orb, Hedwyn and his allies move with and past the orb more quickly. Okay, while bearing the orb, Hedwyn and his allies move with and pass the orb more quickly. But when Hedwyn has the orb, are his allies ever going to be moving? Because I thought we could only move one character at once, right? So I feel like this is essentially just a movement speed and pass speed bonus for Hedwyn and only Hedwyn? Maybe I'm misinterpreting this, but it sounds really cool, but I feel like the description makes it sound like it's better than it actually would be. Otherwise, Hedwyn and his allies may instantly return banished allies by moving to where they fell. Oh. Man! Hedwyn has some really good ones, though. That sounds really powerful as well. Hedwyn and his allies cause banished adversaries to remain banished for 2 seconds longer than usual. Also sounds really good. again, plays into our common strategy of banishing allies, or banishing allies, I hope not, banishing enemies as quickly as possible, and then using that brief moment when their defenses are weakened to sneak a quick character in. So that plays in really well with that strategy, so I do like this. I saw some things over here that, like, this sounds great too. Man, both of these sides have such good options. I think this one is better than this, though. So I think this side still takes the cake.
The Master General reveals his stratagem. Witness the rites firsthand and be inspired. Enlightenment seldom reveals itself to simple ends.
Tiso leveled up even though we just got him. Interesting. Tiso feels solemn respect for the rites and all their myriad complexities. Okay, so I do not have a great sense as to what is the best direction to go in with Tiso. As I was saying before, I feel like there's maybe a bit of a high skill curve for trying to figure out the best way to use him, and we're only just getting our first shot at it. But while fluttering or zipping, Tiso moves much faster than usual. That does sound really good. After casting his Implode ability, Tiso returns much faster than usual. Also sounds really good, because that was one of the problems we were having on that previous rite, was I would try to use Tiso's ability to get rid of a single enemy that was charging straight at our Pyre, but then as soon as I did that, oftentimes we were left with no allies left at all, and then our Pyre was just wide open and they sped through and scored on us easily. So if we were able to regenerate quickly after imploding, then that seems like that would be quite helpful. Tiso's Implode ability can banish adversaries in a much wider area. Similarly, I think the problem was largely that when we did the Implode skill, we were only taking out one enemy. And so the remaining one or two could easily zoom in and clean things up and take down our Pyre. But if we can banish in a wider area, then we might be able to use Tiso to take out multiple enemies at once. And I think that is really the place where that skill is going to be most helpful. Tiso deals an additional 10 damage when dousing the adversary's Pyre. It does 15 at the moment, which I think is the same as Ruki. I like this side a lot. Let's see what's over here. If banished, Tiso drops a moon sign allies can instantly transport to from their Pyre. So he can be a teleporter. Oh, man. So what immediately comes to mind with this is using Tiso as a bit of a scout and trying to zoom forward with him, getting really far along toward the enemy's Pyre, and then if Tiso gets taken out, you use this skill to get Jodariel right next to the enemy's Pyre. And Jodariel is worth so many more points than everyone else when she scores, and she's so difficult to get up there because she's slow. So teleporting her across the whole arena like that could be extremely beneficial. I mean, executing that strategy and making sure that the sphere is still there when all this is happening, to pull it off, that might be another story, but there's a synergy there that I'm seeing. If banished, Tiso automatically casts his Implode ability. He does not possess the orb. Interesting. Okay. So, combine this and this. So, you zoom Tiso toward the enemy's Pyre. He doesn't have the sphere yet. He implodes, and then takes out basically all of the opponents in that area, which seems like that should leave them wide open, and then we can zoom in. So we combine Tizo with either Ruki and just run it in ourselves, or potentially Jodariel, and we teleport in using this skill. Over here, when saluting his adversaries, Tizo turns into a fast-moving howler or back. Press T to salute during a rite. I don't remember having done that ever? Have we learned that yet? If so, then I've already forgotten it. Okay. I mean, that also, if it makes him much more mobile, then that does help as well with this strategy that we were describing before, because Quickness 13 is actually not that fast. He's little, but he's not actually that fast. Star Sign. If banished, Tizo drops an improved moon sign that boosts allies' speed and stamina. I mean, both these sides seem really good. This one seems a little more general. You know, things like additional damage, additional area of effect for his implode skill, additional speed, at least when he's using those skills. Whereas this allows you to do some much more interesting and unusual things that might be more difficult to pull off, but I feel like if we can manage to do that, it's the type of thing that could rescue us from a really difficult encounter, kind of like the one that we just had. So I think we go here. It's a bit of a risk, but let's go for it.
Until the next rite.
Alas, reader, I trust the next rite shall fare you better. May you one day find the freedom that you seek. During the rites, exiles are instantly banished if they touch the adversary's aura. After failing to prevail over the dissidents in a narrow loss, you return to the wagon to recover from the night's ordeal and figure out how best to proceed. I wonder if it always says it's a narrow loss when you lose, or if it actually knows that we came very close to winning that one. You alright, Ruki? Think so, chum? I just need a little more time. Don't count on Parker being caught up in all this. Didn't count on Parker being caught up in all this. You don't owe him your conscience. Conscience? You'll sort things out with him. You always do. I do not wish to interrupt, but the dark of night is waning. Reader, would you join us outside, please? You find Jodariel and the lone minstrel gazing into the sky above the valley, which is beginning to grow pale. You look toward the heavens. Seek our next destination. See what we have. Well, I always do this. I just let it scroll down like, where's the next one going? Here? No, we've been there. It is definitely there. Millith, the Bog Star. The Bog Star burns bright over a fetid cavern in flagging hands. Also, doesn't sound particularly pleasant. Then, it's as I feared. We are to press further north, beneath the valley, into flagging hair. The scribes are watching over us. They will protect us wherever we should go. Had you been to flagging hands, you would not say such things. Scribes have surely turned their backs on that place. If I may, the bleakness of flagging hands shall wear upon you. Sure, I urge for you to take what rest you can, for you shall need your strength upon the road ahead. Your fellow exiles agree to turn in for the remainder of the night. At dawn, you shall have to press deeper into the downside. Alright, and with that being said, this is a good place for us to wrap up for this encounter, and, well, I mean, unfortunately, we suffered our first loss, but as you can see here, just because we lost one of the rights does not mean that it's game over. Instead, we have to live with the repercussions, and we may have more of those in the future, unfortunately, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm curious as to just how much that factors into what happens with the rest of the story. I mean, we saw Ruki had his own dynamic with that team that we just went up against, and will that have some consequences later on in the story? We'll just have to see. Well, anyways, thank you all for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.